Hey guys, how are you? Sorry. We went on the air and the microphone just was like muted. Couldn't figure out what was going on. So I had to like run around and figure it out. New setup's always fun. Hey, how are you all? Sorry about the silence. Yes, no audio. Yes, I know I muted it on purpose to find out what was going on with the big microphone. Hold on, there might be football playing in the background. Hold on. Is the football playing in the background? No, I muted it already. Hey, how is everyone out there? Are you watching the well, who's playing? It's Kansas City. Oh, this one might be going. Miami versus Kansas City 10-7 right now. Really cold game. Floor looks frozen. I don't envy the football players out there tonight. It looks bad. Yes, Danny Mitchell, the chat celebrity. It was definitely the cat's fault. Hey, Moonlight Views here. Hey, good to have you. Good. Oh, Lux is here. Who else is here? Let's say hello to people before we get started. Charisma, DJ, Tina, Marilyn Landis is here. Moonlight View, Laurie Go Cowboys. I hope the Cowboys played. I think they moved their game to like Monday or something. So you have to wait a couple more days. Danny Mitchell, the chat celebrity, and Elaine says, "Hey, Ping and everyone, it's bedtime for me." She's in the UK. It's very late over there. Let's see who else dropped in. Nana Lana, Woos is here. Lux, everyone's here. All right. Oh, hey, Gizmo and Gambler made it. Hey guys, how are you? All right, we have a story. It's not actually in the. It's not in the title, but I want to talk about it because I think it's interesting in some ways and very sad in other ways. So let's get this set up and then I'll get the camera on for you. This is a really interesting case because we had a case out of California, USC or Berkeley, a couple of months ago where a woman was getting in a rideshare car. She ended up being sexually assaulted on her way back to campus. This is a little different. This is a lawsuit filed in San Francisco, a little bit north of there. So we'll talk about it. Let me get my camera on. I hope the camera's in a good position. Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you. It's not great. We're still waiting on the extension. Apparently, Amazon's slow. Amazon are not good. Someone goes, "Hey, push it down." I can't. This is like the lowest it goes. You can see, like, I can't make it go any lower. So someone emailed me last night and was like, "Can you make the microphone lower?" I literally, this is as low as it goes. So sorry about that. We'll get it sorted. We're gonna make the camera go higher instead. So we just gotta wait for it. You gotta wait for it, and then we can do it. If I turn this up, maybe I can talk from here. That'll be all right. Hey, yep, another Maria. Good to see you. Hey, how's it going? Let's have a look. Sorry, I know this is really annoying, but we will get there. We will get there. I promise. I'll look like the have to do hand puppet gestures. Let's do like and then this way. Yes, let's talk about this. I want to talk about this. So, a Lyft passenger filed a lawsuit in San Francisco this week accusing her driver of repeatedly, this wording her, resulting in pregnancy and the birth of her son. Tabitha Means said she requested a ride home through the Lyft app because she was too intoxicated to drive after a night out. She's accusing Lyft of knowingly having, customers be, sexually assaulted and more. She says every day is a struggle for her. At the same time, I need to be a mom to my youngest son. I love my kids so deeply, but there are a lot of mixed emotions. A lot of questions in this. I have a lot of questions. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court, Northern District of California, accuses the company of negligent hiring, retention, and supervision. Attorney Rachel Abrams said the Lyft driver took advantage of her vulnerable state. What happened to Tabitha has no place in our society. The company, headquartered in San Francisco, continues putting profits over riders' safety. This is the lady here, Tabitha Means. Means got into a Lyft driver's vehicle in Florida on April 28, 2019, and the driver began complimenting her sexy looks, the lawsuit states. These inappropriate comments made plaintiff very uncomfortable, and she was very eager for the short ride to end. Means was visibly intoxicated. Once they reached her home, she rejected the driver's offer to walk her inside. She insisted that she would be able to walk on her own, but the driver still followed her inside, and once inside, he, began sexually assaulting her, even though she told him to stop. It says the plaintiff was terrified that the Lyft driver, stranger, and predator had entered her residence against her will, especially given her vulnerable state. She was frozen in fear. The suit claims Lyft became aware that its drivers were, doing that to female passengers as early as 2015, but the company has not taken serious steps to protect passengers. The company also advertises with slogans including "Get home safely with Lyft." They're accusing Lyft of having a full-blown predator crisis and, basically just putting profits over safety. It also says here that after giving birth, Means obtained an administrative order from Florida's Child Support Service to obtain a DNA sample from the Lyft driver. The test confirmed that he was the father. I actually saw the percentages on another document. The test came back as like 99 or 98.99999 recurring. And I was like, whoa, it ain't no one else, is it? You can't be like, it's my twin cousin in Spain. It's definitely him. No, it was definitely that guy. I don't think you can get any percentages higher than that. It was like 1 in 44 billion people or something like that. It says here, her attorney said Lyft drivers are largely non-professional, untrained, and use their own vehicles. Yeah, we know that. The company fails to warn its drivers that their ride may not be safe. I think it's fairly sort of common knowledge now. Like, there's been so many incidents of even cab drivers. I mean, not just Lyft, not just rideshare, not just anything. Even limo drivers, or whatever they call those state cars and things like that. They've done things like that. I think anytime you step into a car that's not your own, where someone else has the power dynamic, you are at risk. You are at risk of something. It doesn't matter what it is, because someone else controls the environment. So I don't know if that's a great argument, but I get her point. It says Lyft company spokesman sent a statement to KRO4 in response to the newly filed lawsuit. Safety is a fundamental priority, they said, and sexual assault against Means did not occur while she was using the Lyft app. Now, this is what I don't understand. Lyft says that she wasn't using the platform when she was attacked. She says in her document, which is right here, I can show you. She says at the beginning of it that she was. Here it is. Where is it? Here. So it says on or about April 28, 2019, the plaintiff was intoxicated and a Lyft ride was requested through her Lyft app. Shortly thereafter, a car arrived with a Lyft light turned on and visible. The Lyft driver rolled down the window, and the plaintiff confirmed the Lyft was there for her. Now, the only thing I can think of is that the driver that turned up was not the driver she ordered, and that he he was a Lyft driver but turned his light on, seeing a vulnerable female and thought, "Hey, here's a quick, something," and that's how that occurred. I'm not sure. It doesn't go into any details in this document here, federal lawsuit. But it seems to be a bone of contention between the two parties, that they are very opposite ends of what occurred. Anyway, she apparently, after about a month after the attack, she thought she was pregnant. She went to her physician. She took a pregnancy test. She was pregnant, and she has kept the baby. The baby was born, and she now has that son. And now she's seeking support, I guess. She may get support already, because she already gave the DNA test through the Florida administrative whatever for, that's how they got the DNA test. It says Means said she never filed a police report because she was too fearful at the time, something she now deeply regrets. She said if she could give other survivors advice, she encourages women speaking up. That's great. That's good advice. She says Lyft is trying to blame me or push me into saying I wanted this or it happened off app. I think, what does it say? I took a ride thinking I was safe, period. I was there. I know what happened. I don't want anyone else to be afraid to speak up. say something because this will continue. I mean, I ain't ever believing any rideshare company for anything. I mean, we've seen so many people get hurt. There was that woman that ordered a rideshare thinking it had showed up. She hopped into the car thinking it was her rideshare. It wasn't, and the dude in there attacked her and killed her, and her body was found like the next day. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we're dealing with. If you get into the wrong car and you think you got the right one, and it's so easy to do when you're intoxicated, I mean, the risk is there. The risk is there. In regards to this case, I have no idea what the ending will be, but I hope she gets some sort of support. If not from Lyft, from the father, that would be nice. He could stop being, a piece of crap, and I hope he stops attacking women in his job. No one wants that, and yeah, maybe we'll get more details if this runs through the court system. Because we haven't seen anything from him. This doesn't say anything about him. Like he hasn't charged with anything. He hasn't been summoned or subpoenaed. I don't see anything here. It says here something. He had a C-section to deliver that baby. I was like, let's read that. No, let's don't read that. It says here there's just a whole bunch of things on here about what Lyft does, how they market their image, and supposed to be safe for people, that type of thing. Yeah, there you go. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else on here that we should have a look. They're saying here Lyft has been on notice that drivers had been sexually harassing, sexually assaulting its passengers since 2015. Lyft was aware, or should have been aware, that some Lyft drivers would continue to stalk, harass, kidnap, sexually assault, or more place attacks on vulnerable Lyft passengers and patrons. Yeah. So it says here, Lyft does not require video monitoring of its drivers that cannot be turned off, nor does it provide emergency notification to law enforcement authorities when a driver drastically veers off course from the passenger's destination, abruptly cancels the ride, or ends the ride at the intended destination, but the GPS data indicates the passenger remains in the car for a significant period of time. Yeah, those would all be good safety checks on the app. There you go. I hope we hear more from both sides, from Lyft, from everyone, as she works her way through the justice system or the Supreme Court or wherever it is. Sam's Law. Marylander says, I wonder if he has a record. We don't know. I don't have a name. Right now, he's just a plaintiff. So, okay. Well, you'd hope so. I get it. She says in the paperwork that the day after the assault, she was worried and didn't want to go to a doctor because she was frightened and just traumatized from the event. I get that. That happens, and that's her 100,000,000% right to make. Um, I don't know in Florida at the time whether something like Plan B was freely available that she could have got from a pharmacy. I don't know. I don't live in Florida, but I could have a look. I know now it's more difficult to get with the changes to the rules. Hold on, guys. This is really silly. Hold on. Sorry, I look crazy. I look crazy the way I'm sitting right now. We should sit like more back like this. Hey, come on. The thing's not playing. It's not being my friend today. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we can get a. Is it no sound? Am I? Hold on, I can check that. Is it no sound again? It should be. I mean, people have been listening to the thing, so yeah, it's back. Sorry, I had to fix something. Let's have a look. Is there any more information in this subpoena? Wait, why is that so small for you guys? Let's have a look. Anything else in here that we could... No, don't need anything about Lyft. We can read that through their statements. Nope. Negligent infliction of emotional distress. Nope. No, there's not really anything else. It seems like a very early stage document. I guess we just won't hear more until we get a second hearing or a response to this from the parties involved. But yeah. Look, I think it's, if she is able to find some happiness from having a son, great, good for her. I mean, I guess all children are a miracle, and that's really good. Like, she can look after that boy and, um, raise that child. That's great. I think that's maybe just a situation's crap. It's just, that'll always be there. You can't erase that. The only thing you can just say is that your dad was awful, and, you know, he hurt mom to get, whatever. You could tell him when he's 18 or whatever. Or you just don't tell him at all and just say you don't have a father. I know that's a common approach a lot of women have taken. I don't know. That's her decision to make. But I don't know. It's hard because you can never, yeah, like I said, you can't erase what happened. It's always going to be there for her. Poor lady. Feel very sorry for her. Yeah, I hate morning says she's lucky Florida does have a law to prevent from custody, but she would need to prove it. Yeah, I would like, I mean, a lot of the video evidence and things like that, it's going to be long gone by now, way gone. I mean, this happened in years ago. So I don't know if any of the CCTV, blah, 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 it's going to be long gone, deleted, written over. It's going to be very difficult for police, especially because it's a one-on-one crime. They would need records from Lyft, I guess. GPS records would maybe help. If you could prove that his car was at her residence for an extended period of time, longer than what it would be to, say, drop off a passenger, book a new ride, and leave. If it's something like, 15 minutes or whatever, maybe they could prove that he was lingering around, and that adds validity to her claims. Look, I believe something happened, and I believe she probably was attacked. I just don't know the minutia detail to it. Was she on Lyft? Was she not on Lyft? Was it this guy pretending to be on duty and picked her up? I don't know. But it's interesting that Lyft would come out and so persistently say that she was not on the Lyft platform. If they knew that to be false, they know that that would get subpoenaed and they would have to hand over those records, which would show that she did order a cab and that he was sent to go pick her up. So I find that interesting that they would say that so early on in the court system. I don't. So there must be something there. Did he do something? And that's why they're so confident that it didn't happen on the platform or whatever. And what, if anything, does that do to lessen their responsibility for the driver and all themselves? Like, do they have, if it did not happen on the app, are they less liable, or are they still liable because he was still representing the company at the time, whether or not the order was put through on the app? I think we've all heard, or all been told that, like, when you work for someone, you're always representing that company. It doesn't matter if you're at work, away from work, online. We've seen people be fired from jobs from tweeting stuff. So I wonder if that sort of plays into it. Even if he wasn't on the app at the time, does he still represent the company? Does that make them liable? Yeah, that's what's going through my mind anyway. Harley says that Florida law should be for all countries. Hold on. Hey, Shad, how are you? Moonlight View says DNA. Well, I mean, it's long gone, right? It's just she didn't do a kit. She didn't do a vaginal kit, so there's no record of that. If she'd done it at the time, maybe there would be a hope, but she didn't do it, so That's her choice too. She said she wasn't comfortable with going to a medical or the police, so that's fine. That's what happens. Hey Beth B, how are you, my dear? I love your puppy dog in the photo. Let's have a look. Gambler says, in town just west of me the other day, after Christmas, a lady alleged that she was SA'd by an Uber driver. He's been charged with 2 counts. The public is being warned that he may be driving for other companies. I think they all drive for other companies. I think they all drive for like Lyft, Uber, the couple of smaller ones, and it diversifies their time because the the spread of customers is across all the apps. It's fragmented. So if you're on each app, you can pick up connecting drives from wherever you are. So yes, that's probably 100% true. I've seen that a lot myself, actually. The body has DNA. The baby has DNA. Right. Yeah, we know that. She did. We spoke about that. She got a DNA test. We already know that. I don't think that's the. Don't think the issue of him being the father is at all an issue. The issue is what how did it get there, I think. I think that's probably what they're trying to, hash out. But no, I get what you mean. The baby has the DNA of the dad. Like I said, I wonder if it's in here. It says she got a DNA test through the Florida law, through the, the child, thing, and it came back as, like, 98.9999 recurring. He said some really gross stuff to her too as well. He said while he was, like, while he was doing all this to her, he said he had just had a sexual encounter with a girl I picked up in a Lyft ride before you. Blah, yuck. I'm sure she felt lovely. Um, he might be down here. Here. Plaintiff later obtained an administrative order from the Florida Child Support Service to obtain a DNA sample from the Lyft driver. The test results revealed the probability of 99.99999999998% that the Lyft driver is the father of the plaintiff's son. I feel like we're Jerry Springer. He is the father. Um, Says here those test results confirm what the plaintiff suspected based on obvious similarity between her son's appearance and that of the Lyft driver. Every day she looks at her son and is forced to think about her Lyft driver and what he's done. I mean, I can't. It's her choice. I mean, there's ways around that. But they're all her choice, and I don't know what the laws were at the time when this occurred. I know they've changed since then with the Roe Wade thing. I know that it's become much harder to access certain things in Florida, but I don't know what it was like at that point. I don't live there. I'd have to ask. I know a couple of people in Florida I could ask, and they are women, so maybe they would be able to help me. But I'm just not a lady, and I don't know. So I'm just trying to see if there's any bits of other information. All right. I'll keep an eye on this. It's on my alerts, and if we get a next step in the court process, see, it was in April 28th, 2019, so it was before those changes, and the Santos guy did the other changes, so it was way before then. This was like almost a year before COVID. It was almost a year before COVID happened. There we go. Hey, Blue Moon, how are you? Good to have you. Hey, Leisha, good to have you here. I know, I heard that there's like freezing conditions like all over the central to east America. Is that right? Central, like north, central, east America is just getting slammed. I heard Trisha's got freezing conditions as well in Texas. So I hope she's okay. I hope the power doesn't go out like last year. That was terrible. poor thing. She had no power for like a day or two. I can't remember. It was pretty bad. All right. Actually, there was a article here. The Cowboys game was delayed today, and some people were asking earlier, like, why wasn't the Dolphins Chiefs game postponed? Now they're saying that New York Governor Kathy Hochul, we've spoken about her before, also stated that Western New York was in a state of emergency, and that's why their game, the Bills game, the Buffalo game, was postponed till Monday. But that the Chiefs Dolphins game didn't get the same treatment because the temperatures are not they're bad, but they're not going to affect public safety for travel in and out of the stadium for the public, players, like workers, police officers, emergency people, and that they don't expect any serious delays getting in and out of the area. That was the issue in Buffalo, and that's why they delayed it. That and the emergency state of emergency thing. All right. We've got sex crimes tonight apparently. I don't know why. It seems like Saturday night is full of sex crimes. I don't understand. It's like we're SVU. We just pings SVU tonight. I don't deliberately pick out sex crimes. It's just whatever turns up on the thing. What the hell is going on? Give me my story back. It says here, Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania. A former defense attorney was sentenced on Thursday on 4 counts for promoting prostitution and will face up to 2 years behind bars. Investigators in the Lackawanna County, Corey Coltrano, 49, used his position as an attorney to solicit sexual acts and materials from clients between 2018 and 2022. Clients were reportedly struggling with addiction or enduring other challenges. In addition to prison time, he will be on probation for 2 years, must pay a fine of $1,700 and complete 250 hours of community service. That is a very light sentence for soliciting sex from your clients in a position of trust for people who are struggling with barriers and challenges within their life. And you're supposed to be the person upholding the standards within our community. That's what lawyers are supposed to do. They're supposed to help be part of the court system that helps the community uphold values. And not him, apparently. Not him. Oh, I just got an email from Trish. She says there's no Saturday night live stream over there, so we can go a little bit longer here tonight. That's very nice of you, Trish. I hope the cold's not too bad over there. I really do. Please stay warm if you're listening. I'm sure she is. Let's have a look. I want to see if we got a little video here to show you. Sentenced.
Investigators in Lackawanna County say Corey Colcharno used his position as an attorney to solicit sexual acts and materials from clients between 2018 and 2022. The clients were reportedly struggling with addiction or enduring other challenges. In addition to prison time, Colcharno will be on probation for 2 years, must pay a fine, and complete 250 hours of community service.
Kentucky basketball falls to Texas.
I don't think we care about Kentucky basketball. Isn't Kentucky, is it even college basketball season? But yeah, I think it is. Marlene Clausen, hey, my friend. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. All right. Marlene says, it's the contract job and not checking backgrounds. Remember the 5-year-old who was killed by the FedEx guy this fall? Yes, I do remember that. Child went missing from their home or their driveway, and they were like, hey, the FedEx guy was the last one here. Go check him. And they ended up tracking him down, and I think they found the child dead. That was an awful case. I hate hearing about that kind of stuff. I really do. Danny Mitchell says he's in Dallas. He said he'll think he'll be in the 20s. What is that? 30 is 1 degree. -5? How good is ping math? -10? 20 F equals C. Nope, that's not it. I don't want a car battery. It's offering me a car battery. I don't know why. Oh yeah, minus 6.66. That is icy. Real ice, real icy. The coldest it ever gets here where I live in winter, it gets down to freezing, which is 0. Sometimes we get a -1 if we're lucky, but that's like as cold as it ever gets. Normally 2, 3, 1. That's sort of as cold as it gets down here. And we're the southernmost point in Australia. One of the coldest regions, except for the mountains. The mountains are much colder. Yeah, I don't know why it tried to show us Kentucky basketball. What a silly thing. Let's have a look. All right, let's move on. That's all I have about this attorney sentenced for soliciting. I just thought that was interesting. You don't often hear that, but that is an abuse of power, and hopefully he stops doing that. That would be nice. Did they say they disbarred him? Or is that it? They're not going to apply any conditions to his... sometimes they ask for them to have like a carrier, like a chaperone, because when you are deceitful in sexual acts within the workplace, they often ask you to have like a chaperone or a second person with you so that you can't do it again. So, and often they'll have another male, sometimes a female, but not normally because you're, obviously doing things to females. And so that's interesting that they didn't do that to him. Let me just have a look. What's his name? Corey Coltrano. All right, let's have a look. Here, Pennsylvania Office of Attorney General. They seem like good people. Let's have a look. Although their website's terrible. It just says here, Attorney General Michelle Henry announced that a former Lackawanna County defense attorney, Corey Coltrano, was sentenced to 4 to 23 months in prison, followed by a 2-year probation for providing his legal services to female clients in exchange for sexual acts and materials. Materials like naked photos, I'm guessing? Coltrano, 49, was sentenced Thursday in the Lackawanna County Court. He previously pleaded guilty to 4 felony counts of promoting prostitution. Coltrano was required to surrender his license to practice law. That's what I was looking for. There you go. Guessing that means he is no longer able to be an attorney, at least for a period of time, maybe forever. The defendant's behavior in these cases was despicable. He preyed on clients and their relatives who had fallen on hard times, exploited their vulnerabilities for his own gratification. This sentencing holds Coltrano accountable for his crimes. An investigation by the Office of Attorney General and the Pennsylvania State Police revealed that Coltrano used his position as an attorney to solicit sexual acts and materials from clients and one client's sister between 2018 and 2022. Many of the women were struggling with addiction, had a history of being sexually abused, or were enduring other challenges. The case was referred to the Office of Attorney General by the Lackawanna County District Attorney's Office and was prosecuted by the Senior Deputy Attorney General Anthony Foray. There you go. So, women entering the court system and encountering him will no longer have to, be preyed upon by him. Good. That's a good result. We have some news about our friend, the serial killer, accused of killing 3 women and more in Long Island. I'm going to bring up another story. Hold on. Wherever it is. Let's see. Where are you, Rex? Here. Let's have a look. Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann faces potential new murder charges. He is recalled to court amid grand jury probe into 4th victim whose remains were found with other slain sex workers. Now, I'm hoping this is Maureen. Yes, it is. Maureen Brennard Barnes. If they can get this 4th murder conviction, I'll be very happy. I always felt like she was like, sort of left behind, even though they were still working on her case, but hopefully they can seal this and get at least those 4 done. Gilgo Beach murder suspect Rex Heuermann is expected to appear in court next week as speculation continues to grow that he will be charged with a 4th killing. The 60-year-old has already pleaded not guilty to the murder of 3 sex workers whose remains were found strewn across Long Island more than a decade ago. He was officially named by police as a suspect in the murder of a 4th woman, Maureen Brennard Barnes, whose body was found alongside the other 3 women in December 2010. While it has not been confirmed why the disgraced architect is facing a new court date, prosecutors had previously stated a special grand jury was only being asked to consider an indictment into the killing of Barnes. Heuermann is slated to appear at Suffolk County Supreme Court before Justice Timothy Mazzal on Tuesday morning. There you go, there's a photo of him. The flatmate of one of the women killed described him as an ogre, someone who would stand over the women he was supposedly courting for sex and would often use his size and strength to sort of harm them and intimidate them. He's a disgusting guy. Here's a photo of Maureen. Very good looking girl. Even, I just think, these poor girls. And if you ever want to look, you see the map here, you see a few of them here. There's Karen Vergata. She was identified only 7 months ago. Great that someone gave back her name. We're still looking for Peaches and Peaches' daughter, but they're really close on that one. They think they know her family in another state. So they're maybe give it a few more months and they might know who Peaches is. And but if you go, there's a map of like all young females killed and unidentified killings in like the Long Island, New York area, and you see all the pins on the map, there's just like hundreds. There's hundreds, and you go, how many more of these could be connected to this? Or we've paid so much attention to the Long Island serial killer. What other serial killer is out there dumping bodies? Because, Rex may only be tied to these ones here and maybe some in other states. But who did the Manaville ones, and who's done the other ones on the other side of the water? Is there 2 serial killers? Is there 3? Is there 4? It's interesting. I find it so fascinating. It says here the married father of 2 had been due to return to court next February for a conference on the original 6-count indictment. His return to court prematurely has fueled speculation prosecutors could be about to him, I think hit him with further separate charges. Heuermann has been held without bail since his arrest for the murders of Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, and Amber Lynn Costello. All 4 women were found among 11. All 4 women were among 11 found on the desolate stretch of the coastline close to Heuermann's Long Island home between 2010 and 2011. All of the victims worked as escorts who advertised themselves on Craigslist. Their remains were found on a stretch of beach wrapped in camouflage burlap and bound with belts or red tape. This detail is so interesting because for a long time, everyone was thinking it was like brown burlap that you got in like gardening or, oysters or whatever. No one ever thought it was camouflage, like for hunting or whatever. And yeah, it's very interesting that it ended up being completely different than what people thought. There's a photo of all 4 women, all very attractive ladies. And there's the pizza. Hold on. Sorry about that. The cat, Rory's she's a nightmare sometimes. She likes to do things to get our attention. Oh, they did that. We're talking about the body parts being found. They found her head. Didn't we say they found her head last week? Hold on. think we know about the head. Yeah, here, WCPO9 News, coroner, FBI CPT recovered head. Yeah, we spoke about that. They were supposed to go out searching on the Friday for more. Let's see. What county is this? Cincinnati, Hamilton County. Let's have a look. Body part. I knew they were supposed to go out more. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, let's have a look. WLWT.
Body parts in North Fairmount, and today the Hamilton County coroner revealing the 2 parts belong to one person. Thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Mike Dardis.
Good evening to you. I'm Cherie Pillow. This is one of those stories that had a lot of people talking on social media, very concerned, including neighbors. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick live for us in North Fairmount tonight. Brian, are they any closer to identifying this victim?
Yeah, Cherie, they are making progress, but there's no identity yet. Now, the torso of this woman was found here along Baltimore Avenue, November 6th, just in this area. And then, on January 3rd, just last Wednesday, the head of the victim was found about a block away. Now, the FBI brought in search teams with canines. That was last Wednesday. They were able to locate the head of the victim. It was just outside of the initial search zone. So the coroner's office has learned more details about who this victim was. They believe the woman was an African-American who had short curly hair. She was about 5'1", around 120 pounds. Now, they have adjusted the age a bit. They now believe she could have been in her 50s. She had apparently been pregnant at some point in time, but they aren't done yet. They're providing information to a forensic artist.
We did do a CT scan of the head and the body here in our office, and so we have a data set of images that we'll be able to provide her. And from my last conversation with her, that's going to be helpful for them in trying to digitally reconstruct her face.
Yeah, they also plan to do a genealogical search, so they'll provide that DNA to databases, and they hope to find a family member that way. Reporting live, Brian Hemrick, WLWT News 5.
Well, there is no serial killer, at least. I mean, everyone was joking that there was a serial killer, but there is no serial killer. Thank God for that. It seems to be the same woman. Yeah, they said there was another one found a while ago, that they're still looking for that identity too. We read about that last week. Very interesting. I'm glad they sort of figured out that it's from the same woman. Let's see what it says in the article here. The Hamilton County Coroner's Office released new details regarding a case involving a dismembered body found in North Fairmont. Cincinnati's FBI evidence response team, along with police, conducted a search last week in the 1600 block of Baltimore Avenue, where a dismembered body was found on November 5th. The body was found in the woods off Baltimore Avenue, about 100 yards from Beekman Avenue. Last week, investigators discovered a human head and worked with the forensic team to determine if the body had belonged to the same person as the torso. On Thursday, the coroner confirmed through DNA evidence that the head and torso belonged to the same woman. Hamilton County Lakshmi Samarko said they are treating the case as a homicide and believe the body was purposely dismembered. Wow. I mean, she's not a crash test dummy that kind of crashed and then went tung and body parts, sort of separated themselves. That's not, a thing with humans. So someone definitely had to do it to her. She didn't go, I'm cutting off a leg, I'm cutting off another leg, here's my arm. Now let's do the head. I mean, some people might have said, well, she got hit by a truck or something, but I think they know that pretty quick after finding the body parts, whether it's something that happened via a car crash or it had methodical cutting kind of, injuries. So, yeah. It says the coroner believed the woman was a mother. forensic team determined the time of death to be late November 4 or early November 5th. They said Buckeye Search and Rescue and their dogs found the head a street over from the other remains, which was believed to have been there for 2 months. She said that since the remains were less decomposed, they were able to gather more information on the woman. Yeah, that's really interesting. I hope they figure out who it was. She deserves to have her name returned to her and her dignity restored, even in such a gruesome death. You know, that's the most dignity we can give to someone like this when they've been involved in a murder, most likely a murder and dismember, is to give them their name and pride back and deal with their remains in a respectful way, bury them in a respectful way with a ceremony and etc. So I hope we can do that for that woman. That would be nice, and give her something that obviously she didn't get with her death. You know, which is respect. Oh, Jojo says the other case was very different. 2018 was buried. That's interesting. Yeah, I was watching a show the other day about a guy. Or was it a guy? No, it was about a woman. A woman killed her partner and then like just dismembered him in the bathtub. She was just like, "Oh yeah, I have to go down to the hardware store, get a saw and just saw his leg off and put it in a trash bag and I'll take it outside and I'll throw it in the bin." And I was like, how do you go from like, "Oh, I love this person and I want to sleep with them," to like, "Let me take their leg off and stab them in the guts"? Like, how do you how do you get to that point where you're like, "All right, it's dismember time"? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I couldn't do it. I'm just trying to see what people are saying. Hey, Moonlight View. Oh, it's a cute kitty on your profile. Hey, Red Like Wine. She says, "I've been listening, but just had to comment. How do people do this? Do you know how hard it is to cut off limbs?" You know, when I think of cutting off limbs and how difficult it is, I think of the 2 European backpackers that were murdered in Peru. They were murdered by people who had alleged, they had given their whatever to ISIS, and they killed them as some sort of, I don't know, copycat thing to ISIS. They tried to cut through her neck bone while she was alive, through the back of her neck. They tried to cut through it and they realized how difficult it was. So they went through the front and killed her, cut her throat, slit her throat while she was alive. Like, blah. I remember seeing that video when it came out. It was just horrible. Horrible. She was calling for her mum the entire time. She was like, it's just, what was that? It was a murder of, hold on. No, that's not it. It was the murder of Louise Vestaraja, Louisa Jesperson and Maren Euland. They're the two this is the one thing. It wasn't Peru, was it? I think I got it wrong. Morocco. Sorry. That's it. I don't know why I thought Peru. I think I'm getting confused with the 2 backpackers who went missing in the forest there, and then like a year later they just found their bones. Do you guys remember that one? They recovered like a camera, and there's like photos of like what they were doing in like the last moments alive, and then people thought it was a murder, and then the government over there came out and said they died from like explosion or natural elements and that. But then they're like, how come their bones had been bleached and things like that? It was really bizarre, really, really weird. Yeah, this is the one I was talking about with the cutting through the head, and the killer found it very, very difficult. So they tried another way. These two. So if you remember, this was back in 17th of December 2018. They went missing. Yeah, I can give you some background. Yeah, on the morning of September 17th of December 2018, a pair of French hikers came across the decapitated bodies of the victims and their tent near a trail connecting Imlil and Mount Toubkal. I murdered that. A suspect named this, I'm not pronouncing it, was quickly apprehended following the incident. Actually, I'm going to put that in the chat. Hold on. If you guys can pronounce it, good for you. Normally what I do is if we come on the show and there's names that I know I'm going to have trouble with, I run them through Google and I listen to the way it's pronounced and then I replicate it for a few minutes before we come on, and that way I can do it. But when we bring up stories I haven't had a chance to background, I run into trouble. It says here, the suspect was quickly apprehended following the incident after police found an ID in the victim's tent that had been left behind by the suspect. 3 additional suspects were arrested, later apprehended from police while riding a bus during the morning rush hour in the nearby city of Marrakesh. 3 suspects were caught in possession of bladed weapons. Killers had agreed to carry out a terrorist attack on either security services or foreign tourists before deciding to travel to the region to look for foreigners, and where they would target the 2 backpackers. In the video of the killings, the backpackers can be heard shouting, "Enemies of Allah and revenge for our brothers in Hajin." Morocco police later made additional arrests of individuals believed to have connections with the suspect. Yeah, they actually arrested like a whole network of people accused of funding and giving material support, things like that, including one white European guy who was like Norwegian or Dutch or something like that, and he was also some sort of sympathizer with them. Yeah, really, really brutal. I never ever want to see that video ever again of those 2 girls getting killed. It says 2 videos, one depicting the murder and another where the suspects filmed themselves swearing allegiance to ISIS, were published on social media. Moroccan authorities and Norway's National Criminal Investigative Service agents have said the videos are authentic. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. Red Like One says, some people do, it's horrific, but animals don't do that to us, except to eat, not for sheer enjoyment of mutilating a body. I don't know. You ask a shark why they just take chunks out of people. I reckon they like it. I reckon they think it's fun. Sharks are crazy animals. No, I'm just kidding. I think sharks are just purely kill-driven animals. Hey, Shark, good to see you. Yeah, awful one. And then that other one I was thinking of, hold on, let's find it. See if I can find it. I can't remember their names for the life of me. No, that's not it. Just trying to see if I can find it. Yeah, it was Chris Kremers and Lisanne Frun. That's it. Found it. These 2. This is one of the most spooky cases I have ever researched. I sat here for like 2 days once. It was before I did my live shows, and just entranced by the information and the camera files. And I was like, what were they doing in those last moments? There's all these like photos, like they're taking a photo down a cliff and then up at the sky and at the moon and stuff. And you're like, what were they doing? Were they trying to get light to get out? It was really crazy. Yeah, this is one of the photos right here. And then there's a lot of discussion online is this looking up or looking down a cliff? And then there's people like, well, it's down because of this. And then someone else is like, it's up because of this. And no one's 100% sure. So some people reckon it's someone at the bottom of a cliff looking up. And then some people reckon that it's someone standing at the edge of a cliff looking down. So I don't think I ever got an answer to it. But when they found the remains, see, then there's this photo, some random twig. And when they found the remains of it, there's one of the boots Her foot was still inside this boot, by the way. Some of the bones had been bleached and they were white, and they don't know why. They're still not 100% sure. It says, while Liz Ann's body had seemingly decomposed naturally, Chris's bones were stark white as if they had been bleached. Their cause of death has never been determined. The bodies of what most people accept belonged to the two women were found a short while later. 2 months later, a pelvic bone and a foot still inside a boot were found in the same area. Yeah. Police searched the area where the bag was found, discovered Chris's clothes folded neatly along a river. It just doesn't make sense. This is another photo, just like the back of her friend's head. Like, it's really, really weird. I don't think we'll ever know, unfortunately. Some people reckon it was like hypothermia because of flash flooding and rains, or that they slipped and fell because of the heavy rains at night or something. I got no idea. If anyone has any better theories on these two, I would love to hear it. I haven't researched it in many years now, but it's still one of the ones that baffles me. How did they not get out? How did they not get back to base camp or whatever? And there's some of their items that they found. Really weird case. Hey, Tina. Good night. Shock says, I've always thought that crazy people can be wherever you are. Nowhere is safe. It's probably true. It's probably true. You're probably looking at just like whatever the random occurrences are within any, given place. Yeah, anyways, I wasn't expecting the show to be super long. I figured everyone is probably watching the football tonight, but I wanted to come on. I'm trying to make up shows because we missed so many shows last week. So I'm trying to at least come on and hang out with you guys for a bit. I don't know how much longer we'll be on. I think everyone wants to go back to the football. So, which I don't think it's a good. We're in halftime right now, aren't we? What is the score? Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like the Dolphins haven't scored since their first touchdown in the first quarter. Kansas City is 16 points, 16-7 at quarter 3. Okay, we're not at halftime. We're in the third quarter. Just started, so they must have just come out of halftime. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, sorry, Miami Dolphins scored in the second quarter, not the first. Looks like this will be a hard game for Miami. They need to mount a comeback in this third quarter to have any shot of knocking off the Kansas City Chiefs and heading to the divisional round next week. Yes, my Niners are going to go to the Super Bowl. Now, you guys hate football, really? Really, you guys hate football? That's interesting. I know some of the guys in here like football. We've spoken about it before. I do. Didn't we have one more story? I thought we had one more. Hold on. I think we have one more for the night, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, traditionally, Saturday nights on YouTube are really quiet. It's why a lot of true crime live streams and things don't do anything on a Saturday night, is because of the viewership's so low. But I think because people are out, they've got other plans. There's good shows or sport on, but that's okay. Hold on, let me grab this other story if I can find it. Come on. Oh, actually, hold on. Someone sent me one that I wanted to do. Where is it? DJ sent me one. We can have a look at this. I've never heard of this one, but we can have a look. South Carolina father and stepmother arrested in death of 5-year-old son in 1989 cold case. We love a good cold case. A father and stepmother are accused of killing their 5-year-old son, Justin Lee Turner, in 1989. Roughly 35 years after the body of a 5-year-old was found near his family's residence in South Carolina, the child's father and stepmother have been arrested and charged in his killing. Victor Lee Turner and Megan Lee Turner, who formerly went by the name Pamela, were arrested Wednesday and charged in the death of Justin Lee Turner in 1989 after the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office in Moncks Corner reopened the case in 2021. Case was reviewed for the possible application of new or unused technology in April 2021, which led the agency to reevaluate physical evidence from the crime scene and autopsy. The evidence was then submitted to forensic pathologists and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division for Forensic Laboratory for analysis. The investigation ultimately led to charges against the couple and their arrest at the residence in Cross Hill before they were transported to the Hill Finkley Detention Center for holding. CNN is working to identify and contact lawyers for Victor and Megan for comment. An affidavit provided to CNN by the sheriff's office said the Turners falsely reported their son missing to the sheriff's office on March 3rd, claiming he never got off the school bus. Witnesses, however, confirmed the child was never on the bus, nor was he in attendance at school that day, and that's in the affidavit. Investigators believe the boy was killed late in the evening of March 2nd or early morning March 3rd, 1989. 2 days after he was reported missing, Justin's body was found by detectives inside the couple's truck camper on the family's property near their home. There's a like one of those cardboard things they put at the press conferences. Actually, we should be able to get a press conference for this to have a watch. This is really interesting. I love when they can solve something from like 40 years ago. Let me see if I can get a video. Maybe here?
Much for joining us tonight. I'm Brendan Clark. Tonight, more information about the Justin Lee Turner case, a 5-year-old Berkeley County boy who disappeared back in March 3rd of 1989. His father, Victor Lee Turner, found Justin's body 2 days later in a camper on their property. Now, yesterday, Justin's father, Victor Lee Turner, seen here, arrested at his home in Cross Hill, South Carolina. Turner's wife and Justin's stepmother, Megan R. Turner, also arrested. Both of them charged with murder. News 2's Berkeley County reporter Raymond Owens was at their bond hearing tonight in Moncks Corner and has more about this 34-year-old cold case.
Tonight's bond hearing was in magistrate court, and of course, a magistrate judge cannot set bond for a murder charge. However, we did learn more information from the affidavits in this case, and we heard from members of Justin Lee Turner's family.
In court tonight, Victor Lee Turner did not say much. His wife, Megan Renee Turner, only asked a question about the circuit court hearing timeline. However, the affidavits themselves said a lot about both of their murder charges. It says sometime around the evening of March 2nd through early morning March 3rd, 1989, they strangled Justin Lee Turner. It says both falsely told the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office that Justin failed to get off the afternoon school bus. When witnesses verified, Justin was never on that bus and did not attend school that day. It says Megan Turner deviated from her normal routine of watching Justin leave the house and get on the bus that day, saying she was not feeling well and took a shower instead. It says the defendant admitted to witnesses that she had an altercation with Justin before the time she claims he was last seen alive inside the residence. She also provided misinformation about her specific whereabouts and activities on March 3rd. The affidavit says Victor Turner found Justin in their camper, and he and his wife are the only people who had access to the camper since they had the only keys to the lock on the camper door. And that camper had been searched multiple times by law enforcement prior to Victor discovering the body. The affidavit says a local television station, which was Channel 2, recorded Victor as he went to search the camper. The affidavit says within seconds of entering the camper, Justin's body was found, and Victor said, quote, "My boy is in there," end quote. It says both Turners knew Justin's body was located inside the camper before the search. It says Victor was overheard asking law enforcement if someone had hurt the victim, such as killed him, and that someone was in the family, what would happen to them? He asked that before a body had been found. Forensics shows Justin was strangled by a type of material that was found on his shirt collar, and that's consistent with what was found inside the residence. It goes on to say, once the suspects learned investigators had collected physical evidence from the crime scene, they expressed concern and devised a plan to withhold or conceal potential evidence from investigators. Amy Parsons is Justin Lee Turner's cousin. She addressed the defendants at the hearing tonight on behalf of Justin Lee Turner's family.
For 35 years, you have enjoyed your freedom. You do not deserve one day outside of those prison walls for what you did to Justin. You were supposed to take care of him, love him, and instead you tortured, abused, and murdered him. Your child. It takes a sick individual to do what you did to that baby, and I hope you never see life outside of those prison walls. May God have mercy on your soul.
Jeffrey Adams deciding it's time to stop the suffering. Stepping out.
There you go. You know what's interesting? There was a video at the end there of a cold case in Australia that was solved after like 4 decades or something, and they got the husband and they were appealing to the Serbian community for help. That was a really big one. Hey Kim68, good to see you. Happy to have you here. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it was a pretty bad. I'm glad they were able to get a resolution for it. Maybe I have to sit like this. There you go. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I don't like Patrick Mahomes either. He was the quarterback who took away the Super Bowl from my Niners, so not a huge fan. That was the 2019-2020 Super Bowl. Marlon Clausen says, Natalia Grace is a Ukrainian orphan who was adopted by an American couple. Yeah. Yeah, that's that woman that they're doing that documentary. It's like its second season right now. I've watched a little bit of it, but I'm not a huge fan, and I can't tell who's lying. Like, I get there's a lot of support for Natalia, and now there's DNA, and I don't know. I'm not that invested in it. I'm more invested in the Gypsy Rose thing, because I think that's really such a landmark case to deal with certain aspects of different mental health, especially with her mom and then her and then what she did with the boyfriend and then the court case. I think she's quite interesting. Although I hope Natalia gets all the help she can get. It's personal? Okay. Yeah, that's the same thing with me. I've watched some of it and I don't know. It's so muddy compared with the different people involved and the several families and the different supporters. I can't tell who's lying and who's telling the truth. And those kind of documentaries or cases or stories I just don't like. It's difficult. All I can say is that I hope she gets support and that finds whatever is her true story. And I hope that is able to help her in the future somehow. That's it. And if anyone did any crimes, I hope they are charged. That's all I can say. Marlon Clausen says, a friend got her interested. The Gypsy Rose stuff's really interesting, I promise. Especially with her mom. I always found it interesting with Gypsy Rose that she was supposed to love this guy that killed her mom. And then as soon as they got to court, she rolled on him to give him such a crazy harsh sentence. And she's already out of jail. I mean, that showed to me that some of what her mom did to her rubbed off on her. I really believe that. I really believe that she manipulated that guy, at least partially. He had to want to do it, but, you know, I believe there was some manipulation there. Danny Mitchell says, I also want to never see any of the Anthonys again. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find something I had put away for you guys. Every time I see something, I put it away in the hopes that if we need it, I will have it. So let me find it. If I can find my other link here. No, you're not going to give it to me? No, it's not going to give it to me. Okay, I'll have to find it a different way. Give me 1 second. What? Apparently, breaking story out of Louisville, Kentucky. LMPD investigating after 4-year-old is killed in Chickasha shooting. Hold on. Let's watch this news thing.
Lauren Drew, police, and it's still a very active scene behind me, say that 4-year-old was rushed to Norton Children's Hospital, but later died from that gunshot wound. And although we don't know a lot of details surrounding how that child was shot, police have said that all parties have been accounted for. LMPD says they arrived here to the scene just before 4 this afternoon. There was a call of a shooting near Dorhofer and South 37th Street. The 4-year-old they found who was shot, later died at the hospital. We spoke to a neighbor earlier today who says she's still shaken by what happened.
Bullets don't have eyes, and these babies are getting hurt and don't even realize they're in the line of danger. It's just horrible. It just breaks my heart that baby is passed now. That is really sad to me. That just breaks my heart. It really does.
Now, as we said earlier, while police say all parties have been accounted for, LMPD says they're continuing to investigate. Reporting live, Jamie Mays, WLKY News.
Didn't we just hear of a child that was shot and killed when we read it last night, right? Awful. Let me see. Of course, I lose my tab. It says 4-year-old is dead after a shooting in Chickasha neighborhood Saturday afternoon. Louisville Metro Police say officers responded to reports of a child involved in a shooting about 3:50 p.m. in the 800 block. They said they found a 4-year-old who had been shot. They said it's ridiculous. I mean, you don't have answers for what's going on. It's just crazy. Child later died in hospital. They said neighbors say they're still shaken by what happened. If something happened to my grandbaby at that age, it would tear me apart. It would totally and completely devastate me and tear me apart. I'm going to pray for them because right now we all need prayer. LMPD's homicide unit is working on the death investigation. All people have been accounted for. Wow, someone just sent me that saying that it just broke. How long ago? 10:04 p.m. So like 10 minutes ago? That just came out 10 minutes ago. Crazy. There's look how many on this sidebar here. Man dead after shooting at Doska Manor in Phoenix Hill. JCPS teacher Kumar Rashad addresses his no, that's something else, don't worry. Coroner identifies 46-year-old woman killed after being struck by car. That's awful. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. The Jefferson County coroner has identified a woman killed after being struck by a car in the Pleasure Ridge Park neighborhood Friday evening. According to the coroner, Yashika Wiley, 46, died from her injuries following the accident on Dixie Highway at Fury Way. Louisville Metro Police Department said they received calls of a pedestrian struck by a vehicle around 6:20 p.m. Friday. Love was taken to the U of L hospital where she later died from her injuries. According to officers, everyone involved remained on the scene. At least there wasn't a hit and run. At least that person didn't die. Jeez, how awful. Let's
Woman
see.
is dead after being hit by a car on Dixie Highway.
LMPD says this happened at the intersection at Fury Way just before 6:30 tonight. The investigation revealed a woman walking on the road was struck by a car. She was taken to University Hospital where she died. All parties involved remained at the scene. The traffic unit is investigating.
How awful, right? She was just getting home or something and she She was hit by a car and she died. How terrible. All right, hold on. You know, I've I've saved so many stories to my bookmark thing in the browser. It's like broken now. It doesn't accept any more bookmarks. And when I do try and save them, I go back to read them and it's not there. It just doesn't accept anymore. It's like over 4,000 bookmarks. I think I have to clean it up because I saved a bunch of stories from the time I was away and they're not there anymore. So that's something I'll have to work on. Let's see what else is going on in the Americas. Oh, this is interesting. Apparently, Ozempic is at the they're having a lot of lawsuits filed against him. Dozens of lawsuits filed against diabetic drug used for weight loss, causing extreme side effects. That's not surprising. I mean, Trish told you she had it, and she was sick as a dog from it. She was really, really not well, and um, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they're saying that they yeah, apparently that people have been throwing up and this and that and uh all sorts of things. So it was never designed for that. So maybe they need to stop issuing it for weight loss or whatever. And if there is something that can be used for weight loss within that drug, maybe it needs more research or lab work to try and isolate whatever part of it is good for weight loss, that they can get rid of the bad side effects from it, if that makes sense. They can do that, and then yeah, maybe it just needs more refinement for the weight loss bit. That way, you're not taking it away from diabetics. You're you know, it's a completely new drug. They'll change a bit or take out things and, you know, do lab stuff. Let's have a look here. Oh, you know, I read this. Hold on, let me show you this.
A serious story. A missing Chinese exchange student found.
Oh. It says here, the killer of the Amber Alert namesake. Hey, stop that. Evades police for 28 years after case inspires warning system. Yeah, there was a documentary that came out last year called Amber Alert or something. Since 1988, law enforcement has used Amber Alerts to quickly notify communities of likely abductions, sharing license plates and identifying information in an effort to quickly apprehend kidnappers within the first crucial hours. Namesake Amber Hageman, 9, was snatched kicking and screaming off her pink bicycle in the parking lot of an abandoned Texas grocery store and pulled into a black pickup truck on January 13th, 1996, 2 years before the first alert. Yeah, apparently there were some witnesses and stuff, but they never, because the information was so slow at getting out, they just weren't able to get on top of it so quickly. Guys, give me 1 second. I got something in my eye. It's really painful. Hold on. All right, there we go. I had an eyelash get in my eye and it was like stinging like crazy. Yeah, they said they remembered his vehicle more clearly, a black 1980s or 1990 full-size fleet side pickup truck with a short wheelbase, single cab, clear rear windows, and no sliding window at the rear, no chrome or striping, and in good condition with no discernible dents or scratches. Yeah, this was her bike, or a similar bike. Oh no, it is the bike. Sorry, I thought sometimes they do a reproduction, but no, that's actually the bike they found. Oh, you guys remember those plastic things on the spokes? Like when you ride, they go up and down. I remember them when I was a kid. It says Diane Simone, a resident of Fort Worth, called an area radio station with a novel idea after hearing of Amber's 1996 disappearance. According to Peacock's Amber, the girl behind the alert, that's the documentary. It's a good documentary. broadcasting details about the girl's appearance and the suspect's vehicle so that drivers could keep their eyes peeled and help with the search. The only thing is now, in my opinion, is do you think the Amber Alert needs a revamp? I think so. I think it's become sort of white noise for a lot of people, and that's really unfortunate because it's there to help find little kids. But I think there's been so many Amber Alerts that people become desensitized to it. And while we know to look and we know to broadcast and get the word out there, I think some people, very much like weather system or tornado warnings or ice warnings or whatever, people get really desensitized to the alerts and the buzzing and the things like that. They don't take it as seriously. They're like, oh, they'll find them. It'll be fine. Um, I think it could do with a revamp of some sort, especially some of the requirements maybe can be fine-tuned a little better because there's been cases where little kids that need the attention aren't getting it because they don't fit like one requirement of the Amber Alert where there is a vehicle but something else doesn't match. So I think it could do with a 2.0. Brenda Crest says, put on more clothes. I need to put on more clothes? I'm wearing a jumper. You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a jumper. Do you guys remember that? That was so funny. Yeah, the Amber Alert documentary is very, very good. What is it saying here? The girl's abductor has yet to be apprehended 28 years to date after she was last seen alive, despite more than 7,000 tips. In 2020, the Arlington Police Department announced plans to submit evidence from the case in hopes of developing a DNA profile for Amber's abductor. But as of this year, no breakthroughs have been announced. You know, it says here, although she died young, Amber has left a lasting impact. That's true. As of December 31st, 2023, 1,161 abducted children have been successfully rescued through the Amber Alert system. That is really good. There's the canal or like stormwater drain where they found her. Very, very horrible. Hold on, what's this? Philadelphia woman charged in death of her 4-year-old child, body remains missing. Dominique Bailey, 28, allegedly told her family the child was struck and killed by a vehicle. What? A Philadelphia mother has been charged in the death of her 4-year-old child, but no body has been found. The Special Victims Unit opened an investigation into the missing child on December 30, despite the mother not making the claim. Weird. Here's a photo of them. Kenneth Spencer, 30, and Dominique Bailey, 28, on the right. The location of the child's body remains undetermined. Bailey was questioned on Thursday, and investigators searched for property the next day. A man was also questioned. Bailey's allegedly detailed the role she played in the unnamed child's death. She is charged with murder, endangering the welfare of a child, abuse of a corpse, and other related charges. Another suspect, Kevin Spencer, 30, was also arrested and charged with criminal conspiracy, murder, abuse of a corpse, and other related charges in the child's death. Authorities have not disclosed the nature of Spencer and Bailey's relationship. Another 4-year-old. We just spoke about one earlier. How awful. And then she tried to lie about it too, but the body's never been found. I hope they find the body. Look at all these murder stories. You get one, you get another, you get 2 for 3. Suspect Daniel Oki Lawson brought his wife to the hospital after he shot her. What? Yeah, apparently we're getting everything at the moment. It's 2024 and we're still getting murders. It says a Virginia suspect was charged with felony, not felony. Felony is a, meat-free bologna. After his wife was fatally shot in Dumfries. Woodridge resident Daniel Lawson, 24, was booked for felony murder and use of a firearm in commission of a felony. He was also charged with shooting into an occupied vehicle. Yeah, did we know this one? Seems really familiar. Authorities said the shooting took place near Possum Point Road and Leonard Street in Dumfries early Saturday evening. 24-year-old Desiree Alexandria Buggs was brought to a local emergency room and later died. She was suffering from a gunshot wound. So he shot her in a closed space and then was like, why did she die? I mean, people are silly. The preliminary investigation revealed her husband, later identified as the accused, brought the victim to hospital after the shooting occurred, provided detectives with an account of what led up to the shooting. While investigating the incident, additional information and the weapon believed to be used during the shooting were turned over to police. Further investigation revealed the accused was involved in the incident. The Prince William County Police Department is actively investigating the incident. No additional details are known at this time. Very interesting. Be more information on that in the next week, I'm sure. There's a photo of him. Oh, here you go. Jojo. Ping, Amber Alerts make a whole business go crazy when they go off. From what I've seen, everyone takes them very seriously. You reckon they do? I hope so. Hey, Thavi, how are you? Oh, Thavi says, my in-laws' pipes froze in North Idaho. Even their water was running. Oh, you guys turn it on so it doesn't freeze. If the water keeps running, it's supposed to make it not freeze up all the way. That's pretty, must be pretty cold for you to get running water frozen. Brenda Chris says, have to run water so my pipes won't freeze. Oh, you put on extra layers. I hope you stay warm. I really do. Please don't get cold. Cold is the #1 killer of people in cold weather. Did you know that? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second. I need like a hold screen. Like when I have to go do something, I need like a hold screen or like some music and a video plays so that you guys don't get bored with the black screen. I'm going to make something. I'm going to make it like 2 cats that run around and like play games or something, and you guys will have something to watch. And then each week it gets there's different episodes each week. And then every time I have to go for a couple of minutes, you'll get a new episode of the interim cat show. Danny Mitchell's going to sing. Danny, come on, come and sing. I'll have you on. What are you going to sing? You're going to sing gangster rap, 90s gangster rap. That's what we take on this channel. Thavi says 6 to 10 inches by 4 a.m. Mountain Time. Oh, that's a lot of snow. Yeah, that's what I would want to know. Are houses well insulated to keep the heat in snow areas? You'd hope so, because your power bill would be through the roof. Cold and snowing in Boise, Idaho. Keep warm, my friend. Keep warm, Thavi, okay? Don't freeze to death on us. Have a nice fire going or something. By the way, I want to thank my friend Siana. She sent in a donation last night, and I forgot to say thank you until today. So she said, I really love the new setup. You and Mrs. Ping did a damn good job. Appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you, from Siana. So Siana, thank you very much, and I appreciate the message. It's very kind. We did work hard on this. Took a while. The whole thing was about a year in the making, which sounds so silly. It's just like, hey, here's a white wall and a calendar. But it really did take about a year to get it all done. You know, I've been broadcasting from the other room and on the couch for like 9 months, and took a while. Thavi says, my in-laws' house was built in 1904. I don't know if we have any houses that are that old in Australia, like at all. I just don't think it happens. Kim68, we're in summer here. I'm sitting in the front of the air conditioner wishing it was colder. Well, you must be up north. It's not that hot down in Victoria today. It's Brisbane 32, Perth 33. Melbourne 22 at the moment. It's not that hot down here, but I know it's hot in Brisbane. It's hot in Perth. Adelaide's 30 degrees today. Why is Melbourne getting such a reprieve from the heat? Melbourne's been real lucky for the last like few weeks. Like normally when Adelaide is hot, because Adelaide is west from us, normally the way our weather works, weather travels west to east in Australia. So if South Australia is hot one day, normally Victoria and New South Wales cop it the next day, or at least Victoria does. But it just hasn't happened this year. There's been must be no good blocking highs or something coming through. Let's have a look. No, there is a higher pressure system over South Australia and the southern parts of Australia right now, but it's pushing all the hot, or it's sort of providing a block across certain parts of Australia, and it's dragging warm air south, I think, but not into Victoria. It's dragging it sort of like into Queensland, New South Wales, and into South Australia and WA. So that's interesting. What's WA's temperature? Where's Perth? 34. Yeah, so it's sort of dragging it all southwards, but not to Victoria. Interesting. It's quite pleasant here. It's 21.8. I don't have my aircon on. You know, doing broadcasting in this room, I'm very lucky. Just there, you guys can't see it, but just there's an air conditioner. So I'm really, really happy. So if it gets really hot or really cold, I've got an aircon just there. New South Wales. Yeah, it's pretty warm out there right now, Kim. Please stay safe. No fires, no bushfires. I don't want any bushfires. Gambler says his house was built in 1925. See, Australia is such a young country. We don't have a lot of old houses, and the ones that are old have sort of all been knocked down because they've been rebuilt for, you know, apartments, smaller blocks, subdivision, that type of thing. There's still a few around, but they're just not as common as they used to be. Oh, go charge your phone, Emily. Quickly, go charge your phone, my friend. What's going on in the football? Let's have a look. Did the Dolphins lose? They are not having a good game, are they? The Dolphins just not one touchdown all game. That cold weather, you know what's unfortunate? Before the game today, there was a lot of talk about how the Miami Dolphins can't play in cold weather and that they've statistically lost games in cold weather for a long period of time. And unfortunately, it looks like they're probably going to keep that statistic going today. They are not going to win this. They would need a huge comeback right now. They need a touchdown. They need 2 touchdowns. Yeah. They need 2 touchdowns to be up 2 points to win the game. So they got 14 minutes, and the fact that they haven't scored anything for 2 quarters, I don't like their chances. Looks like Kansas City and Pat Mahomes is going to the divisional. Let's have a look. All right, I'm going to try to find something I was looking at before for you. Yeah, this is really interesting. I want to show you this from Aaron Patterson. Now, I have told you this before, but there's a little bit more information that came out. See, it says here.
Filing in for their usual Sunday.
Hey, shush. It says the woman at the center of the alleged toxic mushroom case held a party the night before she was arrested. See, I've always found that really weird. Did her lawyers tell her that it was coming? Just wondering. It says today parishioners were seen filing into their usual Sunday service, but notable absences are still leaving a mark on the community. Reverend Ian Wilkinson, the sole survivor of the alleged toxic mushroom lunch, is still not well enough to lead his parishioners. Instead, he will be replaced temporarily by another pastor. Since Simon Patterson's estranged wife was charged with plotting to kill him a total of 4 times, he has not been seen by the media and also was absent from today's service. On Thursday, Erin was charged with murdering her former in-laws Don and Gail Patterson, along with Reverend's wife, Heather Wilkinson, by serving them a deadly meal containing poisonous mushrooms in July. She was also charged with attempting to murder Ian Wilkinson. I cannot wait to see the evidence they have. I am just like hurry up. I want to see what they have that they are so sure that they could proceed with that many charges. They must have something really good. They must, because they just absolutely smothered her in charges. Like, that's like, what did they do? Like five attempted murders, 3 murder counts. I mean, she'll never see the light of day again if convicted. Yeah, I don't understand why she's got such a loyal friend base after what she's shown to do to people. I find that so bizarre, but she's got a really thick friend base who stand by her during everything. They're minding her property, like they're making sure no one breaks into her house and stuff. Like, it's very interesting. I think you just make sure you just don't eat the mushroom canapes and just eat the chicken. No, don't eat that either. Just don't eat anything at her house. Don't drink her drinks, don't eat anything, you'll be alright. It's sort of like a really deadly, ghost house. Like a spooky house. You just don't eat anything. That's the temptation. Don't eat anything and get out alive. I just don't understand who would attend a party after, 3 people died and a 4th one ended up in hospital at the last party you threw. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The trial's going to be so interesting and I cannot wait to go. I'm biding my time till we get to go to trial for this. I'm going to be there every day during trial. I cannot wait. I might even write a book at the end. Maybe I'll write a book. Since I've covered it since the hours after it was reported. I've covered every moment of this case. Maybe I should write my very first book on the mushroom murders. I'm sure there's probably someone out there who is already doing that and is probably going to beat me to a book. So maybe I'm 20 steps behind. Nancy, hey Nancy. It is usually a parent that takes off with them. Okay, I believe you. Like you says, but Marlene, the stuffed mushrooms are delish. They're to die for. That's what there's your punchline. There's your punchline. I don't think I have any more stories, guys. I think I'm storied out. I don't think I have anything else for you. I have a few things saved up for Sunday nights with Ping, but I think that's about it. Hold on, let me check what my friend Emily sent me. No, she sent me that. Dennis, DJ sent me something else. And my stomach wants its breakfast, so I haven't eaten breakfast yet. I've got to do that. Maintenance worker finds malnourished toddler with ankles duct taped. 3 arrested. What? Who does this to children, man? It says maintenance workers find malnourished toddler with ankles duct taped. 3 arrested. Court documents say Kenny Joseph Flunkers, Tanisha Deshay Perkins, and Maya Jari Magruder, geez, that's a name, have been charged with injury to a child by omission and unlawful restraint. The 3 are accused of failing to provide the 2-year-old with medical and physical care. Documents say maintenance workers entered the apartment on November 28, 2023 to replace a dishwasher. They found the little girl on the living room floor covered in a blanket with her ankles taped and called police. Investigators say 5 children lived in the apartment and appeared in good health, but the toddler, who was nonverbal, was underweight and had abusive head trauma. The little girl was taken to hospital where the doctors found she had brain bleeds, anemia, kidney failure, and she was from the abuse, and she may not have survived another night under those conditions. Perkins, the little girl's cousin, reportedly told investigators the other children duct taped the toddler's ankles. Perkins' boyfriend allegedly told detectives that Perkins used the duct tape to keep the girl out of the fridge, pantry, and trash. Ah, man, it's awful, right? And I don't know, those workers, those maintenance workers are heroes for having the bravery to call the police. And I know that sounds really simple, but there are a lot of people out there who would be afraid of their job and would just turn a blind eye. So the fact that these guys had the courage to call law enforcement is really, really brave. So good on them. They saved that child's life. So, and they got 3 arrested and charged. So good for them. They deserve a medal from the city and a few extra beers on a Friday. True crime cookbook genre. Yeah, we'll call it how how to kill a family quietly. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. With kindness and parsley on top. Yes, for a garnish, head over to your cupboard and get your bottle of anthrax. Sprinkle liberally across the dish. Add 2 parts, I don't know what else, like whatever those beans are that you can make cyanide from. Yeah. How to poison with tasty food. A a jilted lover's guide to food. All right, guys. Guys, I love you all. It's been a great Saturday night, and I've loved being in the new office. My back feels a lot better being on this proper office chair. It's a lot better, and it's nice to have the computer and the table and my keyboard here. Hopefully, by the time we come back for Sunday nights with Ping, my camera adjuster will be here, and it'll be over the table a bit better. But Amazon's being slow. You can if you want. Sundaywithping@gmail.com, Thavi. I can put it on the Sunday show if you want. I'd love to see the snow. But other than that, I appreciate it. Have a great night. If you're in the snow, please stay warm. And yeah, come back. We'll be back on Sunday night. Sunday nights with Ping. It's always on. We'll be back. And yeah, we're going to do a lot of stories tomorrow night. It's disappointing. I still haven't heard back from that police department. They told me it should have been this week. I mean, I guess it's just how police departments work. Might be next week now, but I am waiting on something really, really big. I'm so excited. I'm excited because I get to watch it before you guys. But afterwards, you guys will get to be the very first people to watch this, and it could be groundbreaking. We'll find out. It's very interesting. I can't tell you what case it relates to. I can't tell you what it is exactly. It's something to watch, but I can't tell you what it relates to. And yeah, if everything pulls through, it's going to be awesome. No other person has this, so yeah, guys, have a great night. Stay warm. Get some hot chocolate into you, and laugh at the people in the stands at the football game who paid $500 to be there just so they could freeze their butts off and watch their team lose. So, until Sunday night, which is actually only tomorrow. My name's Ping. I love you all. Have a great Saturday night, okay? And come right back here tomorrow and watch again. Thank you to Moonlight View. Thank you to the people who showed up in the chat tonight. I really appreciate it. And like always, my friends in the replay crew, you all are amazing. And yeah, I will definitely get back to you guys in the comments. I love speaking to people in the comments. So until then, keep the party going in true crime. And yeah, more stories tomorrow night. Good night, everyone. Peace out. See you later. It's the end of the show. Bye bye.